Welcome back to Code with Django. I'm really excited about this video. I have compiled a list of all 18 game projects that I have ever coded up. And here's the distribution. We have C++, Java, several Scratch projects scattered about this list. We have JavaScript, Python. We have one Arduino game, which is probably one of my favorite ones to show. And we have some Roblox, which don't do well on this list. And I've ordered this in terms of worst to best, and I can't wait to get to show you guys these projects. Alright, the very first game on our list, game number 18, is Tic Tac Toe. I made this several years ago using C++. These are all the files that were responsible for it. Let's take a look at one of them, ai.cpp. I'll just briefly go through this. Really, all the AI does is choose a random space. I tried to make him choose much smarter than that, but that didn't really work. Let's see that in action. I'm going to run the game. I can choose between single player or multiplayer. I'll choose S for single. I'm going to choose X. And the AI, if I choose hard mode, it doesn't really work because if I choose to go in the top left corner, he moves 3 times in a row and then promptly wins the game for no reason. Well, let's try that again. So I'm going to choose single player. I'm going to do X. I'm going to do easy mode. And you can tell why this is number 18 on the list. It's a really good format for a console game, but it's just really bad. Number 17 on our list is Flight Combat, made using my Scratch account. I made this, I don't know, maybe in 6th grade or something. This was inspired by the ASCII game called Combat, so I just added flight to that. And all it is, you click the start button and you're given 2 different planes that you can fly either with WASD or with the arrow keys, and you would just shoot at your opponents and try to knock them out of the sky. And man, is that sound effect terrible. And of course, you shoot them, you get a point. All those sound effects were actually from the Atari game. And this is better, not much better than Tic Tac Toe, but still 17 on the list. Our next game is Prison Escape. This is a prison escape Scratch puzzle that I made. Actually, I don't know when I made this. This is a much newer project. You play as this stick figure guy trying to escape this prison. Right now, the exit door is over here. The door unlock button is over here. You have a cell phone, and you have a guy stuck in the prison cell. I'll interact with the cell phone, and then we'll move on since this game isn't super good. I'm just going to order a meal, and food falls from that shaft, because, yeah, that's how prison works. The next game on the list is my Java text adventure game. This is the only game I've ever coded in Java code, just because I don't really like this programming language. It's just an awkward mix of C# and C++. It's just really weird. Don't see the point of it. But I did teach a class on it, and this is the game that I made. Text Adventure is a console game where you get to choose what your character does. And once it loads, it's going to give me an intro story. I'm going to put Matt for the name, boy name. Adventures of Matt. There once was a knight named Matt. He was tasked with defending the royal family from any foe no matter what. You can see they put my name there. Matt became a knight after losing his memory. I'm going to skip through some of that. You can read that. But you're given options here. Now that you're in the castle, you can talk to the king, exit the castle, or skip the journey. And you're just tasked with destroying all the monsters. I'm going to click 2 to exit the castle. And you can choose between the forest and the cave. This is better than the few Scratch games. And this is a pretty good game, I guess, but it's pretty low on the list because there's not much here, just choosing different options. But I encourage you to try this out on your own. The next game on the list is my zombie game made with Python. And if we look at the list, there's actually several zombie games. There's a Python zombie game, there's a JavaScript one, there is a C++ one. So my zombie games were basically like the hello world of game development for me, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I made several of them. This is one, it's probably the worst one, and we'll see that in a second. So let me go ahead and run this. I need to use command prompt to run this, and I'm playing as this fast moving circle. I can shoot in the direction that my mouse is aiming, and you can see there are humans and zombies in this game. And the problem with this is not a bad game, but the problem is that it is very, very fast paced. So everyone got infected instantly. If you try this out on your own. The challenge is not to survive. Surviving is very easy. There's an infinite amount of space in this world. The challenge is trying to actually save any humans because the zombies move so fast. The next game on this list is the first and one of 2 Roblox games that I've made. So I'm not a huge Roblox fan. I don't really like the games, but I do like using Roblox Studio as the game engine, and I've taught several classes for coding students on how to do the same. So this is one Obby project that I made. Let me click play. So this Obby is pretty big. You start with this stage here with some invisible blocks, more traps to jump over, disappearing stairs, this weird ball jump time thingy. Yeah, that's a great name for it. This part is probably the hardest part. You just gotta walk up this hill and not get hit by one of these spheres, and oh no, it's lagging and I'm so dead. Okay, I didn't die. This next part is this rotating rainbow road. Lastly, we have an invisible path section, and the rest of this obby you'll get to try out on your own. The reason this ranks so low on the list is because most of the coding students that I have who got to play this didn't really like the obby. I just think that it was because the obby was hard. I don't think this is a bad obby, but if your audience isn't liking it, it's not a good game. So this is number 30. All right, now we're getting to the better games. We're about in the middle of our list. This next game is actually the battle simulator game that I made a playlist for on the same YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, python main.py. And then this is just a 2-dimensional battle simulator. It simulates a fight between as many armies as you want. So we're going to simulate a fight between 4 armies. So each soldier for Army 1 will have 100 health. They'll have 30 attack power. There will be 100 soldiers in Army 1, and they will be cyan. Army 2 will be... let's just give them all the same stats and make this easy. Alright, once you have all the stats for the army and you're ready to simulate, you just click enter, and it will start simulating the fight. The soldiers will start fighting each other, they'll move towards each other, and right away, a whole bunch of them died right away. Let's see, we have magenta, white, cyan, and red. And it looks like white and cyan are definitely going to lose. So this is not a fantastic game, but this is, I do like this coding project. This is one of my favorites. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made a playlist on how to do this. And this was actually inspired by one of my students who asked me how to make this. This next entry is a classic, at least a classic for me. It's Horde of the Things. This was a Lord of the Rings knockoff game where all you do is you play as this guy and you run around Middle-earth, running through houses, getting chased by other weird stick figure guys, and all you do is steal things. So I just stole a television. So many people try to kill you. If Middle-earth really had this kind of firepower, there wouldn't have been any Sauron. But yeah, this is the Horde Lord of the Things knockoff. You steal television sets, you steal furniture, and it's really chaotic, especially as you watch all 3 guys in pursuit get knocked off by an arrow or a cannon. Number 10 on the list is my first major JavaScript game. This is a game made with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it's our second zombie game. So you open up the website, you enter how many zombies you'd like to fight, and how fast they move, but there's some default values in the system, so if you click play, it will just start. You play as this character here. The animations are not great, but it's really hard to do this in Canvas. And you just click space to shoot, and boy, was that way too loud. Let me tune that down. I'm going to just mute the tab. And you just aim in the direction that the zombies are walking and keep them from eating you. And once they do eat you, you get a pop-up, you got eaten, and you click tab to refresh the game. All right, we have now entered our top 9 games, and number 9 on our list is Slither.io. So if you watched my Slither.io series, this is just my Python replica of the real game Slither.io, which you can just play by typing that in your browser. So let me run it real quick, and this is one of my favorite Python projects. You just collect orbs like normal, and you grow longer. And so this isn't the best remake of Slither.io, but it has some of the same chaotic elements of one snake dying and everyone else immediately diving for that one snake to eat it. And the AI only search for the nearest orb, which makes them very easy to kill like that. Oh, never mind. Number 8 is my Star Wars Order 66 game coded on Scratch. And again, Scratch, even though it's meant for kids, I do like coding on this. I started coding with Scratch, so I kind of have that nostalgia. And I've also have taught classes on Scratch for kids, so I kind of have to keep it relevant for myself. Order 66, not super relevant for kids, I guess, but I made this game. So I'm going to click play. You're playing as Mace Windu with one metal hand, and he has lightning power. So this is an evil Mace Windu, and your goal is just to plow through all these clone troopers here. Probably one of my favorite visuals is, well, one, the bullets deflecting, but then just watching an entire stack of clones just get knocked back. I'm going to run all the way to the edge where you get to fight Palpatine. Alright, I've reached the edge of the map, and now I'm inside a building, and I'm getting attacked by Palpatine and all his minions. And this game is nice, it's great for Scratch, but... Oh, and I'm almost dead. But it really easily resorts to just whoever spams longest. Number 7 on the list is one of my all-time favorite coding projects. This was made in C++, and you'll see on the list, C++ is definitely my favorite language, because even though the Tic Tac Toe was the worst one, you can see that the final 4 consist almost entirely of C++. This is definitely my coding language of choice. So I made an ASCII game. This means a game that's only made with letters graphics. And let me show you this. So the map is really kind of small. You play as this and symbol in the corner here. So when I use the arrow keys, he moves. Don't mind that flickering. Different enemies appear as different letters. So the G stands for guard, S stands for soldier. Archers appear in level 2, I believe. You go to from level to level by reaching the equal sign, and the next level loads. And I always was a fan of ASCII games, and I was really excited to get to play my first one. These zeros are things that the archers are shooting at you, otherwise known as arrows. I don't know why I call them things. There are a ton of levels in this game, and I've never actually beaten this game. I coded like 10 different levels from different text documents, which you can actually see in the files for the download, but I've never been able to beat this game, so I would love to see one of you guys be able to do this. But ASCII Game, definitely one of my favorite projects here. Number 6 on the list gets a special place in my heart because this is basically a game console. It does not run on a computer. So what this is over here, I have an Arduino microcontroller and a liquid crystal display and a joystick and a potentiometer, a little dial you can twist. Here's how you play this. So let me focus in here on the screen. I'm going to click the reset button. This is another ASCII game. So you play as this little rocket ship that you can move up and down, and you are trying to avoid these asteroids. And what the potentiometer does is it lets you affect the difficulty. So I can speed this game up by cranking it all the way over, or I can slow it down. So let me do a faster speed, like that. And of course that was too fast for me to do, but this is one of my favorite projects of all time. I used Paul McWhorter's YouTube channel just to learn how to use the microcontroller, how to use the display, but the project idea is entirely original, and I love this thing. I'm never going to disassemble it. Number 5 on the list, the second Roblox game, is Laser Tag. And this is a game project that I think turned out really good. I really made this primarily so that the students at my coding company would have an end-of-class game to play. Because like I said, I'm not a huge Roblox fan, but coding this was a ton of fun. And yes, it did make me 109 Robux. I did not, in fact, buy these. But I don't know what to do with that. Somebody tell me what I can actually do with that. Alright, this is laser tag. So once you join, you'll notice several starred tiles on the ground. Most of these are cage traps, where if you step on them, it will fly you up to the air and kill you. But though some of them actually do just activate the colored tiles on the ground. You'll notice the red and blue tiles will disappear periodically, forcing you to find cover. And my legs just got shot off. That's because the lasers are designed to only delete what they touch instead of killing you in one hit. So you can play this with no legs, like what my character is doing now. And your goal is simply to click E, shoot in the direction that your character is facing, and kill all the other NPCs and players on the game. So again, I still enjoy playing this, especially with my students. Definitely deserves spot number 5. Next on the list is Factor Royale. This is a game that I coded as a part of my final project for my pre-calculus class. What you do is you play as a circle with an assigned number. So right now I am 17 and my goal is to shoot any number that is smaller than me or any number that I am a factor of. But most of the time in this game you don't have enough time to think about who you're a factor of. So it's really just shoot the smaller numbers. Once you find a smaller number and kill them, you get their points and you get to be bigger. But it looks like I'm about to lose since everyone's already in the hundreds. Let's find someone small. Is there anyone small I can pick on? I don't see anything. Let's just hope that 17 is a factor of 627. And evidently, it was not. By far the best C++ project I've made was the C++ zombie game, and the best of all the zombie games. So this was coded with OpenGL graphics, though even though it's pretty high on this list, unfortunately I followed a tutorial for this, so it wasn't really an original idea. So I'm going to enter 100 humans to start, 0 warriors, and you play once again as a dot, and there's really nice physics, nice collision with the other humans in this game, which is something I don't really code in my other projects. And your goal, you have 3 different weapons, 1, 2, and then 3. And so 3, the machine gun is the one I use the most. And obviously you just want to stop the spread of the zombie virus, which it looks like in this case it's going to be pretty easy. Let me show you how quickly it spreads when the population is bigger. Alright, with 300 humans, this is going to get out of hand much faster. So I have my chain gun ready. You can of course shoot humans if you want. So I want to pause here and give a quick shout out to the YouTube channel where I got the tutorial for making that zombie game from, Making Games with Ben. So Ben Arnold, I believe is his last name. He has 2 main playlists on YouTube, how to code in C++ and how to code using C++ to make games. And I love this YouTube channel. This is a very, very dead channel, but I wanted to thank him for giving me the inspiration to, one, start my own channel and also just major in computer science. If he didn't make these playlists, I probably wouldn't have been interested in doing game development and coding, and I probably wouldn't be a computer science major. So I hope you're doing well, Ben. Number 2 on my games project list is A Toasted Universe, and this deserves a second spot because this is really the project that started it all. This was my very first major game project. I started coding this when I was in 4th grade, and the code is an absolute nightmare. I've tried so many times to improve upon this game, but the code is just beyond recovery. So all I did was make some improvements last week to make it playable for you guys. So this game starts, you're on a ship getting attacked by aliens. You have this hologram captain who gives a tutorial, and you can skip that. You move with the arrow keys. You shoot with the space bar, and your goal is just to progress through the game by hopping through these doors. You want to avoid anything that's the color red, including these red guys, which are really easy to kill. These dark red tiles here, you just click W to jetpack over them so you can continue to progress through the game. So I love looking back at this game project. The levels are really horribly designed, but it's a ton of fun for me to try to play through these, and I actually have never beaten this game. All I did last week was make sure it was possible, fix all the bugs, but I've never beaten this game project. So I would love to see one of you guys be able to do that. Number 1, the best game I have made by far is Santa Simulator. So Santa Simulator is a game where you play as the stick figure Santa. I was saving a bit on the artwork. You play as a stick figure Santa delivering presents to children and underneath Christmas trees. You click E to open doors, and as you enter the building, the wall disappears so you can see, and you click right shift to let down a present. But I love this game so much because this was my first really, really big game project. Not first project ever, but first big one. So I started coding this in the, I think it was the summer of my junior year. That was me working on the game engine. And then the fall of my junior year is when I finished the actual game mechanics. So police officers will spawn because you are able to fight people. That's why this game is so good in my eyes. You can fight people and you can kill people. My threat level is now 12.5% because I just killed one officer. If I hop into this room, there's a sleeping green stick figure, and I'm just going to call them green stick figure. Of course, you do get points for giving them presents, but you can proceed to break the present in front of them and then just beat them up. And of course, every single time you do, your threat level goes up. Now that my threat level is almost 40%, more and more police officers are spawning and trying to kill me. And in fact, there are also red people inside these houses. These are the adults, and they are trying to stop Santa Claus from delivering presents for whatever strange reason. I do think GTA inspired some of the makings of this game because you can do basically whatever you would like. You can destroy walls, you can destroy presents, you can attack people, even though you are meant to be Santa Claus. Thank you so much for watching my games playlist, and I could end on a very cliche YouTuber note and just say leave a comment on which game was your favorite, but instead just play all these games. I'm going to include links and downloads for all these games so that you guys can get to try them on your own. Thank you for watching. We are now in our top 9 games, and the first one, number 9 on this to shoot lasers at other players and these NPCs called hunters. So you just aim in their direction. Whoa. So here's how it works. What you do is you click the reset button, and then let me zoom in here. You play as